Your cells may be aging quicker than they're meant to. And the wild part is this scientist can detect it right now in real time. They can measure it, observe it, even visualize it through advanced tools. Inside every cell, the protective tips on your DNA are gradually wearing down with each breath you take, each bite you eat, and every stressful moment you push through. Over the years, 3 Nobel Prize-winning scientists helped explain why this happens and what we can do to slow it. Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn identified a biological timer operating inside our cells. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi uncovered how the body clears out its own damaged components to maintain youth and function. Dr. Venki Ramakrishnan revealed why the cell's protein-building machinery may be one of the deepest keys to longevity. And the best news is that certain everyday foods in your kitchen can talk to your biology, influence DNA-related processes, encourage cellular repair, and help defend against diseases linked to aging. Before we break down the exact foods connected to these Nobel-level discoveries, take a second to subscribe. If you're new here, that way you won't miss science-backed health information that's practical, clear, and actually useful. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from. We genuinely love hearing from viewers around the world who care about living longer, stronger, and healthier lives. Let's start with Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn. She received the 2009 Nobel Prize for uncovering telomeres and the enzyme telomerase. Here's the simplest way to picture it. Think about your shoelaces. Each lace has a small plastic tip at the end that prevents it from unraveling. That tiny tip is called an aglet. Telomeres play a similar role for your DNA. They cap and protect your chromosomes so your genetic material stays stable. But every time your body makes new cells, whether it's replacing worn-out skin, healing a cut, or creating immune cells to fight infection, your telomeres shorten a little. Over time, if they become too short, cells can't function normally. They become sluggish, dysfunctional, or stop dividing properly. They age, and eventually they die. And that cellular decline is tied to many of the conditions that take the most lives: heart disease, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and cancer. What Dr. Blackburn's work made especially clear, supported by publications in major medical journals, is that long-term ongoing stress speeds up telomere shortening. One well-known study conducted with psychologist Dr. Elissa Epel looked at mothers caring for children with chronic illnesses. Their telomeres appeared biologically about 10 years older than their real age, and the pattern was consistent. The longer they had been caregiving and the more intense the stress they reported, the shorter their telomeres became. But here's the turning point. Telomeres are not only shaped by time, they're influenced by lifestyle, and what you eat can help protect them. In fact, research published in Lancet Oncology reported that people who adopted specific lifestyle shifts, including targeted dietary choices, boosted telomerase activity by roughly 29 to 84% in only 3 months. This research included collaboration between Dr. Dean Ornish and Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn. Even more striking, a 5-year follow-up found that the participants who maintained those changes increased their telomere length by about 10%. While the control group saw their telomeres shorten by roughly 3%. So instead of continuing the typical downward slide, their cellular aging markers actually moved in a healthier direction. Now, what do the foods that support telomeres have in common? One major theme stands out. They're rich in antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids. A study from Ohio State University, published in Brain Behavior and Immunity, found that higher omega-3 levels were linked with longer telomeres. Another major line of evidence came from UCSF, where Dr. Blackburn is based. Researchers followed 608 heart disease patients for 5 years and found that those with the highest omega-3 levels in their blood experienced the slowest rate of telomere shortening. That research was reported in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Additional work published in Clinical Nutrition also supports the idea that omega-3 fatty acids stored in body tissues may help reduce telomere attrition and push back against premature cellular aging. And there's more. A large clinical trial called VITAL found that vitamin D supplementation was linked to less telomere shortening as well. about 140 base pairs preserved over 4 years. Here's what to put on your plate. If your goal is to support longer-lasting telomeres, start with omega-3 rich staples such as wild-caught salmon, sardines, mackerel, walnuts, and flax seeds. Then bring in deeply colored berries, blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries, because they're packed with anthocyanins, the pigments linked to lowering DNA damage. Add leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables like spinach, kale, and broccoli, plus bright bell peppers of different colors. Together, these foods supply vitamin C, vitamin E, and folate nutrients that play a central role in protecting your DNA. And don't forget the foundation foods that quietly do a lot of work. Whole grains like oats, quinoa, and brown rice, along with legumes such as lentils and chickpeas, which provide fiber and B vitamins that support cellular processes. Research consistently shows that folate is necessary for DNA synthesis repair and cellular metabolism. It also helps regulate homocysteine, and elevated homocysteine levels have been associated with shorter telomere length. Beyond folate, color itself matters. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition reported that people who ate more carotenoid-rich foods, the bright pigments found in many fruits and vegetables, tended to have significantly longer telomeres. Mushrooms deserve a special mention as well, because vitamin D has been linked to telomere length, and a 2017 study in the Journal of Nutrition highlighted this association. So, when you combine omega-3s, antioxidants, key vitamins, and plant pigments, you're giving your cells the raw materials they need to defend DNA and slow premature cellular aging. Now, we shift to another Nobel-winning discovery that explains how cells stay cleaner, younger, and more resilient. Dr. Yoshinori Ohsumi received the 2016 Nobel Prize for revealing the mechanisms of autophagy. The term comes from Greek and essentially means self-eating. That might sound alarming, but it's actually one of the most powerful renewal systems your body has. In autophagy, cells break down their own damaged or worn-out components and recycle them, turning cellular waste into usable energy and rebuilding materials. Dr. Ohsumi's landmark work began with yeast in the early 1990s. He deprived yeast cells of nutrients and then genetically altered them so they could not fully break down cellular material. What happened next was striking. Within hours, when he looked under a microscope, he observed small recycling structures accumulating inside the cells. Tiny sacs known as autophagosomes building up in large numbers. That visual evidence became a turning point because it didn't just suggest that cellular recycling existed, it showed it happening clearly. And it opened the door to an entire new field of research. His findings demonstrated that autophagy is not a random accident inside the cell. It is a regulated response that can be switched on, especially during nutrient deprivation. In that state, cells begin recycling old proteins and damaged organelles for fuel. This matters for longevity because it reduces the buildup of cellular debris, the junk that contributes to aging, inflammation, and disease over time. Autophagy had been noticed as far back as the 1960s, but scientists didn't fully understand what they were seeing. Dr. Ohsumi's experiments in the 1990s identified the genes that control autophagy in yeast, and showed that comparable mechanisms also operate in human cells. That shift changed how modern biology thinks about cellular maintenance and long-term health. Peer-reviewed research also suggests practical triggers. Studies indicate that fasting in the range of 12 to 24 hours can activate autophagy. Scientists have found that calorie restriction can switch on protective genetic programs, pushing cells into a preservation mode that makes them more resistant to disease and cellular stress. One 2023 study published in Science Direct examined healthy young males during Ramadan with daily fasting periods of about 17 to 19 hours across 29 days. Blood samples showed autophagy-related genes rising significantly, with the increase peaking around the middle portions of the fasting schedule. The results supported the idea that intermittent fasting can stimulate cellular cleanup pathways. Long-lived populations offer real-world patterns that fit this science. Research on blue zones regions where people frequently live past 100 reveals habits that may naturally encourage these protective mechanisms. In Ikaria, Greece, for example, residents observe roughly 150 days of religious fasting each year. When that practice is paired with a Mediterranean-style diet, high in vegetables and olive oil, it may contribute to their remarkable longevity. And fasting is not the only trigger. Exercise can activate autophagy too. Evidence shows that moderate aerobic activity and endurance training can stimulate autophagy in muscle and even brain tissue. Animal studies have documented increased autophagy in mice after treadmill exercise, and emerging human research suggests exercise may regulate autophagy in tissue-specific ways. This cellular recycling process has also been linked to protection against neurodegenerative conditions, such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, reinforcing why autophagy is considered one of the body's most important defenses against aging-related decline. To switch this renewal system on, begin with time-restricted eating. Keep all your meals inside an 8 to 10 hour daily window. A simple example is eating between 1200 p.m. and 800 p.m. When you do that, you create roughly 16 hours without food, which gives your body the space it needs for autophagy to start ramping up. One of the biggest obstacles is non-stop grazing. If you snack all day, you never let the metabolic reset happen. Instead, stop constant snacking and leave a clear gap of about 4 to 5 hours between meals. This timing matters because autophagy doesn't truly kick in until liver glycogen is used up, and that process generally takes around 14 to 16 hours. That's why the fasting window is the engine here. While you're in that fasting period, you can still drink water. You can also have black coffee or green tea, and those options won't break the fast when consumed plain. Then when it's time to eat, choose foods that support the process you're trying to activate. Green tea contains EGCG, a compound associated with promoting autophagy. And cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower contain sulforaphane, which is known for activating pathways connected to autophagy. But above everything else, the real secret is consistency. Your body responds best when these fasting periods happen regularly, because autophagy is a system that relies on repeated signals, not occasional effort. Now, let's move to the third Nobel discovery that ties directly into how well your cells stay functional with age. Dr. Venki Ramakrishnan shared the 2009 Nobel Prize in Chemistry with Thomas Steitz and Ada Yonath for revealing the atomic structure of ribosomes. Ribosomes are the microscopic factories inside every cell that manufacture the proteins your body depends on. They take the genetic instructions encoded in DNA and translate them into proteins, molecules that build tissue repair, damage, coordinate immune defenses, fight infections, and keep countless life-sustaining processes running every second. Every protein you have is produced by ribosomes. When ribosomes remain healthy and efficient, your cells can keep making proteins properly, which supports strength, immune resilience, repair capacity, and a slower pace of age-related decline. To uncover how these protein factories work, Dr. Ramakrishnan used X-ray crystallography to map ribosome structure in precise atomic detail. And research published in Nature Communications has suggested that safeguarding ribosome function through nutrition can help extend not only lifespan, but health span as well. To strengthen your ribosomes, start with the building blocks they rely on, most amino acids. That's why high-quality protein matters. Wild-caught fish, pasture-raised eggs, and grass-fed meat in reasonable portions can supply the full range of amino acids your ribosomes use to assemble the proteins your body depends on. You can also get complete profiles from certain plant-based options, including hemp seeds and spirulina. The key point is that protein quality is more important than simply pushing the number higher. Research suggests that a moderate intake, roughly 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight, helps support ribosomal function without placing unnecessary strain on cellular systems. More is not always better. In fact, consistently overeating protein can become counterproductive rather than protective. Next, there's a mineral ribosome that can't function well without magnesium. Ribosomes depend on magnesium for proper activity and stability. Foods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, and dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa are strong sources. And the numbers are impressive. Just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds can deliver close to half of the magnesium you need in a day. Alongside magnesium, B vitamins also play a crucial role because they support the production and maintenance of ribosomes. Leafy greens, avocados, and legumes provide folate and other B vitamins that are essential for ribosomal RNA production, which is a core part of how ribosomes are built and maintained. Beyond specific nutrients, overall energy intake affects how much cellular effort goes into making ribosomes in the first place. Research on calorie restriction has shown encouraging outcomes. A study published in Nature Communications reported that moderate calorie reduction in mice extended lifespan in proportion to how much restriction was applied. One reason this may work is that it lowers the metabolic load tied to ribosome production, freeing up cellular resources so the body can prioritize repair and maintenance instead of constant growth signals. Sleep is another factor people underestimate, but it's non-negotiable for healthy ribosomal activity. Research published in Nature Neuroscience found that sleep deprivation in older adults disrupts ribosome function. Your cells use sleep time to run repair programs, including protein-related processes that involve ribosomes. That's why the Target Matters aim for about 7 to 8 hours each night. Movement completes the picture, especially strength-based training. Physical activity particularly, resistance training helps your body use protein more efficiently by improving protein synthesis. Studies show that resistance training in older adults can stimulate ribosome biogenesis and enhance muscle protein synthesis, supporting the preservation of muscle mass as the years pass. And here's what ties it all together. The foods and lifestyle habits that keep ribosomes working well overlap almost perfectly with the other Nobel discoveries we've discussed. A nutrient-dense diet, good sleep, consistent exercise, and moderate eating patterns work in the same direction, helping your cellular protein factories stay steady and efficient for decades. Here is a simple daily eating blueprint inspired by Nobel Prize-winning biology. Start your first meal with 2 eggs alongside sautéed spinach and tomatoes, then add a small handful of blueberries and a cup of green tea. For your midday meal, build a large salad using mixed greens and a variety of colorful vegetables. Then add chickpeas and pumpkin seeds. Dress it with olive oil and lemon and include a side of quinoa or brown rice for steady energy and fiber. In the evening, aim for wild-caught salmon 2 to 3 times per week, or another fatty fish on the other days. Pair it with steamed broccoli and Brussels sprouts plus a sweet potato or a serving of lentils to round out the meal. If you truly need something between meals, keep it simple and supportive. A few walnuts with berries, a small piece of dark chocolate that's 70% cocoa or higher sliced vegetables with hummus. Meal timing is just as important as what you eat. Try to finish your last bite by 8 p.m., then wait until noon the following day before eating again. That creates a 16-hour fasting window, which gives autophagy time to activate and allows your cells to shift into repair mode instead of staying stuck in non-stop digestion. During that fasting period, stick to water, black coffee, or green tea. This isn't about magic ingredients. These foods are simply high-quality fuel for the microscopic systems that keep you functioning. They help defend your DNA caps, encourage your cellular cleanup process, and support the protein factories that your cells rely on. To amplify the benefits, pair this approach with daily stress reduction. Even 12 minutes of meditation or deep breathing can help. Keep your body moving too. Regular activity like walking or cycling for about 30 minutes on most days supports all 3 longevity systems. Prioritize sleep as well, aiming for 7 to 8 hours of good quality rest. And don't ignore connection. Strong social bonds matter, and studies show that supportive relationships are associated with longer telomeres. Real longevity isn't built on expensive procedures or miracle pills. 3 Nobel Prize winners helped prove that your body already contains the machinery to heal itself, clear out damaged cellular parts, and slow down the aging process. Dr. Elizabeth Blackburn demonstrated that protecting telomeres through diet and lifestyle can help reduce the diseases that claim the most lives. Dr. Yoshinori Osumi revealed that regular fasting windows activate autophagy, your built-in cellular recycling program. Dr. Venki Ramakrishnan showed that supporting ribosomes with quality nutrition helps your protein factories operate efficiently over time. When you look at the combined scientific work over the last 2 decades, the message becomes consistent. Telomere shortening, low autophagy activity, and declining ribosome function are linked with cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, and diabetes. This is not speculation. This is Nobel Prize-winning biology, reinforced by thousands of peer-reviewed studies. And every meal you eat is a chance to send better instructions to your cells, a chance to say, repair, protect, stay resilient. The good news is, you don't need perfection for this to work. Start small by adding more colorful vegetables to what you already eat. Try a 10-hour eating window a few days a week. Choose fatty fish twice weekly. And if this gave you a clearer direction for healthier aging, share this video with someone you care about, a parent, a spouse, or a friend who wants a longer, stronger life. Type yes in the comments if you're ready to begin supporting your body's natural longevity systems. Your future self will feel the difference in the choices you make starting today.